When it comes to personal Bible study and pastoral teaching, there's a dangerous ditch on both sides of the road that many Christians throughout history have fallen into. So let's talk about it. Now, there are two main problems that pop up regarding these topics. The first is that some people have the tendency to just trust the Bible teachers that they have to teach them everything they need to know about the Bible and not bother with studying anything themselves. The other is the exact opposite problem, and somebody will only focus on their own Bible study and completely disregard any other teaching. And both of these problems are ones that have existed in the church for as long as the church has existed. We have New Testament teaching that specifically addresses each one because it was already a problem. We'll look at the importance of personal Bible study first. In the first century, this was highlighted because you had groups like the Gnostics who would teach that they had the secret teachings, and that if you wanted to learn all of the really deep things about God, you would have to come to them. And of course, their writings aren't very clear, so you would have to go to the special gurus who knew what they were talking about to learn what they were actually teaching. Later on in history, you had the elite groups of teachers who were of the opinion that the common folk didn't need to be able to understand the scripture, and that they could come to the leaders of the church in order to understand it. This sort of thinking was a large part of what led Martin Luther and the other reformers to actually print a Bible in the modern day language that people could understand instead of just expecting them to rely on the Latin teachings of the priests. And in the modern day, this is a relevant issue because false teachers abound everywhere, and there are all kinds of groups of people that are calling themselves Christians that will teach you something that has absolutely nothing to do with an accurate understanding of the Bible, but people don't know the Bible, so they just take it. And if all of that as red flags wasn't enough for you, we have teachings in Scripture that address it as well. 2 Timothy 3:16 and 17, Hebrews 4:12, and Joshua 1:8 in the Old Testament all highlight the importance of knowing and understanding the Scriptures. If that wasn't good enough, 2 Thessalonians 2:15 and Galatians 1:8 and 9 both highlight how critically important it is that you hold fast to the teachings that you were given before, so that you know whether or not the things that you're being given now or that you will be given in the future are accurate, which you can't do if you don't know the original teachings. The only way for us to know them is to read the Scriptures. And the other problem are people that seem to have the opposite issue, in that they'll study the Bible and pray on their own, or at least they'll say that they do, but they refuse to gather with other believers. We see from Hebrews 10:24 and 25 that this was already a problem Paul was addressing in the first century, that people had the tendency to not gather together. But that teaching is also backed up by Proverbs 27:17 in the Old Testament, which compares two believers strengthening each other with the way that a piece of iron sharpens an iron blade. And you can gain a deeper understanding of the need for believers to meet together so that they can strengthen each other, build each other up, and correct each other from passages like 1 Corinthians 12, which would be the entire chapter, and Ephesians 4, verses 2 all the way through 16. Each one of those explains in pretty intense detail that it's important for the body to be united and work together as a whole. Each individual part of the body cannot function by itself. You have to be connected. If I disconnect my hand from the rest of my body, it dies, and my body no longer has that hand to help it. Same goes with any other body part. Well, we're all compared to parts of the body, and those parts of the body have to be connected to the whole body in order for them to fulfill their purpose. So hopefully you don't fall into either one of these categories, but if you encounter people who have the attitude that they will just let their teachers teach them the Scripture and not worry about what it says, or that they can do everything on their own and they don't need to meet together with the body, they're both wrong and they're both going against Scripture. Lovingly correct them and move forward, hopefully, in a loving, strong relationship closer to God together. God bless, guys.